These should be all the little bits that I got from the Yahoo auctions. I always get excited to see Japanese newspaper. Now these things are extremely hard to come by. So I've got a couple of little issues to overcome, but it shouldn't be a problem. In the previous video, I mentioned that I purchased these quite a while back and that I completely forgot about them, but I am definitely wanting to fit them. So I will start with the front. I'll remove that wheel and get these on, because you have to pair them up. So this and this is the front wheel, and these two larger ones are the rear. So I'll start with the front, get the wheel off, get those on. They're just held on with some bolts which are supplied, which are these. And then we'll set about taking the rear wheel off and get those on also. I think they will definitely make a difference. Images of scooters with these, the actual chrome ones, because these do come in different colours. Anodized blue, red, I think green, and the chrome. So yeah, I keep getting images with the chrome, and I'm just, every time I see one, I'm like, I want them on. So let's get on and we'll do that. Purchased some of this lens paint. This is something that I've wanted to try out. These are little test pieces. You can see here, I was a little bit impatient, went a bit thick with the coats, and it has started to separate, but it gives me an idea of how dark I'd like the lenses. This one is only about one coat. And if you compare them against the ones that are on the scooter currently, it's not a huge difference. The camera doesn't quite pick it up, but it's slightly darker. But what I might do is go 2 coats on the final application, which will be on these lenses. I just want to dull them down a little bit. Now, I don't know if these scooters came with slightly tinted lenses. They may have been an aftermarket option. I honestly do not know. But I have seen a couple of scooters with a slightly darker lens, and I much prefer that look. So what I decided to do was buy this lens paint and just give it a go. So yeah, I won't go as thick as I did previously. It does actually state that you are supposed to let it dry, I think 15 minutes between coats. I was definitely not leaving it 15 minutes. I was being very impatient. So yeah, I like the look of that. So I'll whip these off, get the lens spray on them, let them dry for 24 hours, and then we can get those ones back on. Just removed the pivot covers, those two there, both sides. And then you're going to want to remove the brake cable just by undoing this nut. And yeah, the speedo drive, which is easy enough, just held on with a little screw just there, just a Phillips head. That will then simply pull out. And then, yeah, just the big bolt and the nut on the opposite side. Undo those, pull that out, and the wheel should drop out. There you go then, guys, easy as that. So yeah, just disconnected these two, pulled them out from the hub, easy enough. Same with the speedo drive. So now we can get on these new covers, like so. So the larger dish would go over the hub, like that. And then on the opposite side is this one here. Now this large hole, pretty self-explanatory, is for the valve. So just make sure that when you put it on, it's on like that, so you can access your valve. Literally seconds to bolt them on. Use some nice stainless bolts I had lying around instead of the ones provided. And I use some nylock locking nuts instead of the nuts provided, which are not the nylock. So any vibration, these will not come loose. So let's get it back on. Instantly, I love them. I think they look amazing. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm so glad that I decided to make this purchase. Now, for those of you that are interested in these can fit multiple scooters. So these were advertised originally for a Dio. So not actually an NE or an NB50, which is what this scooter is. But all the wheels are the same and they fit. They share the same wheel. And these were from Aliexpress. And they didn't cost a lot at all. I can't remember what I paid for them, but I know that they were very, very reasonable for what they are. So if you're interested, I will find the link and I'll leave it in the description for you. Here we are, the guys, all nice and dry. I've left these for a couple of days. It says 24 hours on the can. But yeah, left it a couple of days. And they are definitely slightly darker than original. So yeah, let's get these on. And there we are, guys. Very small detail, but just gives it a bit of a darker shade, and I really like that. I do like the old school sort of bright orange lenses on anything, cars, bikes, but for this, I saw the smoked lenses, and as I said, I still don't know if that's something that's modified like I've just done, or they used to come standard, or maybe the later models. I have no idea, but either way, really happy with that little modification. Got some new bits. These have arrived from Aliexpress. A new digital thermometer to measure the heat of the scooter engine to make sure that we're not running it too hot. And I've already fitted one, but this is another. This is the left hand side one. These are little brackets which this will stick onto. I've already fitted one here to the mirror because if you guys remember, this was blanked off. So yeah, it will sit there, hopefully run the cables down through here, and there will be enough to attach the adapter to the spark plug. So I'll open it up, I'll have a little look through and see what we got. Here we are then, guys. Here's all the contents. So I've purchased the 14mm ring, because that's the size of the spark plug we require for this scooter. We have the harness. I'm not quite sure how long this is. It's going to be over a metre, hopefully, which should be enough to run from here down to around about here, as I mentioned. Here's the display itself. It's actually really nice. It's quite a good quality. It's all digital. See there, you've got the accessory wire, which will go to battery, and then you've got the black wire, which is just go to ground. So I will have to find somewhere to attach that so it works on the ignition. I'm going to work out what length I have to play with and see if I can get it neatly underneath and up and have the gauge sitting here. If not, the gauge will have to sit somewhere else. I have seen previously people put them down the side here, or they've put them up in here. I don't really, if I can help it, want to cut any plastics. So worst case, what I might do is I'll hide it in here somewhere. So at least then it's hidden, but I can open that up, see what the temp's at, close it back up. So we have some options. Let's see what we've got to play with, and yeah, get this started and get this installed. These spare lenses I now have. I have removed the tint spray off one using some 400 grit and then finished it off with some 2000 to smooth out the scratches. That was the one that had like the separation. I think I went too thick with the coats, but about 10 minutes work and it came off all right. So I will do the same with this one. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've just randomly come up with an idea. It might work, it might not look good, but it might look great. I don't know, but they are spare. I have plenty of the tint spray remaining, so I just thought I'd give it a go, and it might be a little quirky add-on and a good couple of spares for the scooter anyway. So I will do this one, get the tint spray off, and yeah, give it a go and see what we come up with. So I've been tinkering with the engine again. I've just put all this back together. I've changed the rollers. So I was running 3 9-grams, and it's not a massive difference. It's only going to be literally 3 grams more. But I've decided to put in 6 5-gram rollers. So I've now got a 30 weight overall instead of the 27. Just taking it up the drive out here in the farm, and admittedly it picks up really, really well. Just had to tinker a little bit with the idle, because on release of the throttle, after a couple of seconds, it almost wanted to sort of cut out, just choke out a little bit. So I just wound this in ever so slightly, and now it comes down lovely, gradual, and sits at idle lovely. With regards of top speed, I mentioned to you guys that my target was always 40 miles an hour. And if you remember, when I used the GPS app in both of my cars, I mentioned that there seems to be like a 3 mile an hour delay. So whatever speed the GPS app tells me, I'm to add 3 miles an hour, and in theory, that would give me the precise speed physically of the scooter on the road. So I've got a screenshot of the speed I managed to reach, which I'll post now. And with that, with the 3 miles an hour added on, you can see that the scooter has reached a total speed of 42 miles per hour so far. So I'm actually really, really happy with that. And I think I've got it running as best as I can at the moment. It doesn't seem to bog down. It picks up really quick. The acceleration is quite it's quite fun, to be fair. It picks up really well. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that for now with regards to the engine. Now, I've got the side panel off. I'm not going to bother putting it back on, because I have some parts coming over from Japan with, once again, massive thanks to Benny. I've got another exhaust. I managed to get a front basket. Now these things are extremely hard to come by. This one isn't in the best of conditions, but it literally worked out at about £9 I won it for, and it's an original Honda part. So that's going to be something that I will be restoring in a future video. I have a big box. So this came a lot sooner than expected. These should be all the little bits that I got from the Yahoo auctions. So the exhaust, the front basket, I think it was a original brochure, sales brochure, and my split clutch cover. So let's get the box open and see what we got. Always excited to see what condition these parts are like, because you can only get a rough idea when you view them on the auctions. But I must admit, the packaging is always very, very good, and I always get excited to see Japanese newspaper. So let me get rid of all of this stuff, pull the bits out, and we'll have a closer look. So this is what we have, guys. Managed to get myself an original brochure. So I haven't opened it out of this packet yet, but it is absolutely mint. And I might have mentioned that I've collected brochures in the past for all my cars, and I saw this, and it wasn't expensive at all, and it would just be a nice thing to have. And I think I might even frame this, to be fair. I do love these old brochures, and I'm really surprised they've lasted almost 40 years. Incredible. I have the exhaust. So I saw this pop up and I quite liked the idea of this as one piece. Whereas, if you can just see there, with the A-line, it has a removable end can. So this is a slightly different shape to the A-line as well. I think this sits ever so slightly lower. But otherwise, everything's exactly the same. The metal, the welding, all the brazing, everything is exactly the same. So I have this as an option. And I'm thinking of maybe getting a nice sticker made for here. Not quite sure yet what I'd like. But I think I'll polish this bit up and a nice sticker will look nice on there. A split cover. I've been looking for one of these for a little while now. I've not seen this design here with what I'll call them fins, but I've not seen this. Now this was advertised for an AF09, which is the Japanese equivalent, or a Tact, which you can see just here. So it should fit. I can't see why not. And also, if you can just see, it comes with all the bolts. Now this is going to need a big cleanup. It's not been cleaned whatsoever. So I will put this in the vapor blaster and I'll get all of this cleaned up. Get the paint removed and then get this painted. And I'll probably just do this in the light silver as I have with the original. Just like that. Looks nice and clean. But this is what I'm really excited about. And I've had a quick look at it. And other than this hole here at the bottom, and the mesh is extremely delicate, I can literally pick that apart. But I was aware of that. It's a little bit misshapen. If you have a look here, compared to the nice curve on this side. I don't know if maybe the scooter had been dropped, this was attached to, and it's pushed it up. But this is going to be a nice little restoration. And this literally just sits like that on the front. So yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into this. And these are really hard to come by, to be fair. I don't think they come up often, and they can go for good money. This I thought I got for an absolute bargain. Benny won it for me. I'm sure it was no more than 30 quid. So really happy with that purchase. And I can get a nice sticker made for the front here. So this originally had a Honda label on the front. I may get some replicated, or I might even get a 7-Up design put on the front. But either way, this is going to be a little bit of a delicate restoration. So I think the first thing to do is remove all this plaster coating without damaging the mesh. And I think with the lower part here, what I might have to do is buy some black mesh, which I'm sure I have somewhere, and see if I can just insert it on top. Instead of trying to remove the original, I think I might just try and lay it on top. Or if I don't do that, maybe just make some form of plastic cutout so it sits. So at least if I sit bits down, it shouldn't find its way through the holes. But either way, I'm looking forward to starting that restoration at some point. Here we go then, guys. Back from Aquablast. A lot cleaner than it was before. So I'm just prepping these little scuffs here. And one just here. Very minimal damage compared to the original one. This one here, underneath. And there was a piece missing. I had to use some metal putty to attach. Don't know if you can see. You can't really see there, but you can see I used some metal putty to reform it, and it worked a treat. And to be fair, you wouldn't really know. But yeah, that one had quite severe damage compared to this one. This is very minimal. So mix up a little bit of body filler, fill these imperfections in. This side is perfect. I just need to mask up the spline and get these in etch primer. Done the kickstart lever also. Not quite sure if I'm going to polish this up as I did previously or just paint it, because it will be a spare. So yeah, I'll make my mind up what I'm going to do with that one. But either way, yeah, fix this quick with some filler, let that go off, get this in some etch primer, and then we can get it in its wheel silver, which is the same colour as that. There's the filler. It's not pretty, but it'll do the job. So I'll let that set, flat that back, and that'll be all good for etch primer. Making a start and trying to polish this. It is a bit rough, but I think I need to use the machine, because that's what I used last time and it made such a difference. And then a little bit of polish to seal it in, and it will look like that. I do like the polished look, and even though it is a spare, it's always nice to have a good one. So yeah, I'll spend a little bit of time on that. I don't need to rush with this, but I will be polishing that up. The other piece is over in my spray booth. So yeah, that is in etch primer. Spray booth being the log cabin. So yeah, that is just one coat. I might do another very thin coat of this, go over the with both covers with a white primer, then go over the silver, and I use a petrol resistant lacquer, because this does sit just underneath the carburetor, and it'd be horrendous to be able to go through all of this work and then one little tiny bit of petrol just ruins all of the paintwork. So yeah, recommended. Petrol resistant lacquer for definite. Here we are then, guys, all done. So we left them overnight. No real evidence of any scuffs or damage. It's gone on nice as always. It's the front part. Also decided I wanted to polish the kickstart. It's come out alright, to be fair. Could do with a better polish, but otherwise that will look good. So that is a good spare. And on this one, I decided to leave the rubber sleeve, whereas this one, I took it off. The gasket for the rear part is in really good order. I was going to order a new one, but this one will work perfectly fine. Just need to clean it up, which shouldn't take too long, and then that can get fitted. With regards of the front, I've been trying to search for a gasket that will work for this, because obviously it's only one half, and had no luck. So what I've done is I've ordered another one of these as a spare. This is a genuine Honda product. The other one I've ordered is also a new old stock genuine Honda item. So what I've decided to do is match this up as best I can and just trim that rear half off, because I don't need it, and then at least I have a gasket for this front part. So yeah, I will do that, trim that, cut that to size, get that fitted to the front part of the engine, and then clean this up, attach it to this, and then get this on. And that is the split clutch cover all done. Here we go then, guys. There is the gasket in place for the front part, all trimmed. There is the remaining, easy enough, just cut with a pair of scissors. The rear case, as mentioned, just give this gasket a little bit of a clean, a bit of a wipe over. Fits perfectly, so we can reuse that, not a problem. So yeah, let's get this on. There you are then, guys. Went on really easy, and it's so nice to have all the original existing bolts. I cleaned these ones up also, as well as these, which I mentioned. Yeah, really nice to have all the original hardware. So yeah, what I can now do, which I couldn't do before, and I did try, is you can actually run the engine, remove this rear cover, and you can see how the belt is operating on the variator. So I can see how high the belt is reaching. So then with that information, I can then adjust certain things like the roller weights and try and utilize as much of this as possible. But also this just looks awesome. I really like the look of this split cover, and I'm so glad I found this one, because as I mentioned, I haven't found these before, not with these fins. It's a really nice detail. So yeah, really happy with that. I could in theory put the side panel back on, but if you noticed, I've removed the heat shield off the cylinder head. The reason for that is Finley, one of the guys on the Gensuki group, he managed to find one on the Japanese auctions, all original, even with the plastic fan cover on the opposite side. He purchased it for someone, they no longer needed it, so I grabbed it. So hopefully that should be here in a week or so. It's in much better condition, and it actually has all its fixing points. So I don't know if you'll be able to see. No, you can't, unfortunately, but there's a bolt just down here which holds it on, but it also is supported via this bolt here. Now this bit was so rotten I actually cut it off, but what that meant is that it rattled ever so slightly. You didn't really hear it, but it did rattle. This one's complete, so I'll be able to fix it in all its positions, so then it'll be rigid. So that, when it comes, I will give it a good polish, as I did with the previous one, get that on, and then we're on our way. And at this moment in time, I'm having all these stickers made, and so far they look incredible. I won't give you a sneak peek just yet, but there's a few extras which also I've asked to be done, and James has been amazing. He's literally just said, yeah, no worries, let me have a go, and he's come up with some brilliant stickers. So that, I think, will really give the bike its look it requires. The basket I sent off first thing this morning to be chemically stripped, so hopefully that comes back in not too bad condition. I'm still finding a way of trying to replace the mesh. There's a little hole, isn't there, at the bottom, and all the mesh that I've managed to find is the wrong size or wrong design. So I'm a bit stuck on that, but I'll keep going and I should be able to find something. And then once I've found it, it's how to attach it, because the metal is so brittle. I can't really weld it because I think it will just blow the metal. I could glue it, but then I don't know if that'll affect how it would be powder coated. So I've got a couple of little issues to overcome, but it shouldn't be a problem. Otherwise, what I might do is find a little bit of plastic and just use it as a base. But yeah, we are getting there. So a little bit more to do. I will continue to fit or have a go at trying to fit this temperature gauge, which I mentioned earlier in the video. I've had to order an extra harness because the wire's just not long enough for where I want to sit the gauge. But worst case scenario, I could move it. It honestly isn't a problem. I'd like it on display, but if not, I will put it down in the little cubby hole in the front. But with that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.